Hey everybody, welcome to the Born to Succeed podcast. I'm Braxton Nilsson, I'll be your host, and today I'm pretty excited to have one of my great friends, a role model, along with his sidekick, this beautiful lady, Shad and Jaslyn Field. Thank you guys for being on the show and coming in today.
I'm excited.
Can't wait. I didn't know you were done ready for me. So
Yeah, that was the intro anyway.
Okay.
That was
I'm ready.
great.
You guys, I'm excited. Thanks really for coming in and take some time out of your day to be able to sup everybody. We're going
Instagram live.
Instagram live going on in here. So.
we need to plug that in so they can hear. The mics are awesome.
Oh, the mics are awesome. V6 does a great job, honestly, with all the setup.
Yeah, it's
in
cool.
here.
So if they're not on the live, they're wanting to know when they can hear this.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, everybody, and we'll link it for you. You go swipe up, watch the video. It's going to be really good.
And we're gonna put it on the YouTube channel. So.
Yep, it's going to be on there.
But if you haven't messaged in for questions, do it, and we'll try to check them and answer you guys' questions.
Yeah, as we go, this is going to be all, like, it's just open. We're going to get to pick your guys' brain a little bit about successes, questions on Instagram. Actually, you know what? Let's just dive in. Start with the questions on Instagram a little bit, and then kind of tie them in too. We'll probably hear them again throughout this story and your successes and accomplishments and obstacles you've overcome. But starting it off, one of the first questions was, I better not say
I don't care. Go for it.
No, one of the questions was, I got text by somebody who said, how do you guys have such beautiful kids? What sex positions did you have to have beautiful kids? That was a question on there.
I know, and I'm pretty sure your wife asked that.
Well, you know what?
That's cool.
We want to have beautiful kids.
Hey, I told you guys the first question was you were going to want to be here for it. Hey,
So-
let's
So how
dive
do we do
into
it?
it.
Yeah.
Good genetics.
Good genetics.
I don't think position has a lot to do with it.
Good genetics. Okay, question number 2. So let's get, how did you guys meet was one of the questions on Instagram. How did this marriage relationship, where did it start?
Okay. You want to get this or you want to share?
We can share.
Go ahead or me?
We were in high school when we met.
I'd like to hear her version on this
Oh,
because
yes.
it's always a little bit different than mine.
Okay, my
Go ahead,
version.
Jazz,
All
start us
right.
off.
I had a friend that knew Shad, and we were in St. George at a high school rodeo, and I'll never forget her saying, "You got to meet my friend Shad Field." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." We walk over, and he's on his horse, and he's got like a scarf on. But like at the time, for me, that was not cool.
Yeah, because she was Mrs. City Girl and I was a cowboy.
Yeah.
And pointed toe with high-heeled boots. I was
No,
like,
I've never owned a pointy toe boot in my life.
Yeah, they were pointy. Anyway, I was like, oh my gosh. Hi, Shad. Let's go to my friend. That was
Yes.
first impression.
I saw her. I had seen her multiple times. I knew who she was and was always thought she was pretty cute and wanted to date. And then we dated off and on through high school rodeo a little bit. A lot of times I thought I was the boyfriend and later found out I was one of 3.
Nice.
Yeah, and I don't know if the other ones are going to hear this or not, but they both know who they are. And we probably all felt the same.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Players gotta play.
oh yeah. I actually knew, and this is no BS. I told multiple people this, but I knew in high school that I wanted to marry her.
Really?
I didn't know that I would. Didn't even really probably think I would, but I knew then that I wanted to marry her. And even this kind of goes into that a little further. But I went on a mission for our church, and I was in Argentina for 2 years. And I remember being with certain companions, and we'd be talking. You know, we'd say, you know, if you went home today and you had to marry anybody, who would it be, and why would it be her? And I told people at that time it'd be Jaslyn or Shard. And I don't know why, but I remember thinking even back then.
I do. I know why.
Yeah,
Flip,
she's hot.
She's hot.
Oh my
She's hot.
gosh. Guys.
Can rope.
Yeah.
She's kind of the full deal. But anyway, when I came home from my mission, I looked her up right away. Actually, no, you wrote me a letter.
No, this is a really cool story, actually.
It
I
is
saw
cool.
Shad's mom It was in Logan, Utah. I think, no, it was in Provo, Utah at a store. I ran into her and she was telling me that Shad had pneumonia and he almost had to come home. And anyway, I told her to tell Shad hi the next time she wrote him a letter. Anyway, Shad wrote me a letter a couple weeks later. And in the letter, he had sent these cutest little purple flowers. They were pressed. And I kept the letter forever. And in the meantime, I actually got engaged to somebody else. And when I did, my mom threw away the letter. And then it was just shortly after that I obviously didn't get married to somebody else, but we could not find that letter. And I wished so bad that I had that to go back to. But I saw Shad when he got home off of his mission a few months later. And anyway, it was just really special, and it's been special ever since then.
I came home and got a girlfriend that was a great girl. She was super cool, and we actually dated for a while and started talking about getting married and even looking for rings a little bit. And then out of the blue, I just felt like it wasn't right. Didn't know why, and ended up breaking up with her within a couple days of those feelings coming on. And it was hard because I really did love her, and I thought it was right. And it was about 4 days after I broke up with her that Jocelyn called me out of the blue, and we hadn't talked in months and months and months. And I had no idea. For all I knew, I thought she was married because I knew she was engaged. Mm-hmm. And she said, "Hey, I broke my engagement off, and I was wondering if you'd like to go on a date." And I was like, "Hell yeah." And
I proposed too.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Yeah.
She got down.
I know exactly where I was standing when I got the phone call, everything. I was so excited. And we were going to go to the Jazz game, and she stood me up.
No, that's not true. I did not stand you up.
Yeah, you did.
No, I had to go barrel racing.
Did we go on the date?
No, we didn't go on that date, but
Okay.
we did go.
We went on a date
eventually.
Probably 2 weeks later. We went out, or a week later, and we went to an Argentine restaurant, and then we went and watched The Notebook.
Something like that. It was the night before Valentine's Day that year.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I actually, first time I'd ever done anything like this on the first date. No, I just kidding.
Oh, you got some. Yeah.
No, that's not true. But
It's
We
so
were.
true.
No.
You don't need. It's okay.
we were laying on the couch, and this is actually really cool. We were laying on the couch, and both of us, we didn't tell each other at the time, but I wanted to tell her I loved her the very first date after that. And I think we were engaged 3 months later and married 3 months after that. So from that day, it was about 6 months till we were married.
That's.
And here we are. This year will be 15 years.
That was another question. So that answers how long have you been married? 15.
Yeah, 15 years in whenever we got married, August or something.
When I think about that story, summing it up, because that was kind of a long story, but there might be somebody out here listening thinking, when the heck is that going to happen for me? But it's all in the Lord's timing. Like, I really, truly believe that that it will happen for everybody, and don't be discouraged. And even if you think that you're engaged and all is well and you don't feel right about it, we were just talking about our faith earlier, but I know that the Lord had a plan, and I know that Shad was definitely part of mine.
Yeah. I'll have to say, Shad, I met you right out of my senior year of high school. And you opened doors, man, took me kind of underneath your wing, and I've learned a lot from you. And one big thing that I truly cherish is your relationship that you two have, and being around your family and your boys. It was so inspiring to me, and I appreciate your guys. Not only do you talk, and you guys are those listening get to hear their experience, but they live it every day and cherish that relationship, and it's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, if you want to, while we're on it, I could go into my thoughts on marriage. A lot of the questions were, in fact, what was the one question?
While we're on the topic, this is an Instagram question that says, tips to keep your marriage, oh man, I misspelled it. Tips to keeping your marriage fun and not getting stuck in the same lifestyle checklist.
Same checklist, yeah. And you'll understand that checklist when you get into marriage a little longer.
I've only been married 8 months, and it's been great.
Yeah, and it is always great. And I've had the question. I had a couple people asked, it appears to be a perfect marriage, or I don't even remember what the question was, but I will tell you that it is a perfect marriage. Absolutely 100% perfect. And the reason I say that is because I think if you didn't have, do we fight?
Yes.
We get in some good ones, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have sex every single night like I want to? Pretty much. No. No, far from it. Okay, do we go sometime without? Because that's what a guy likes,
No,
right?
it is. This
But
is real.
my-
You know,
my
every
point-
person out there is thinking it too.
Exactly.
They are.
They want to know.
They know.
How often do they do it?
Hey,
was a
we have
question.
5 kids, and I don't know about him, but I'm freaking tired.
Okay. And what I'm saying, my point being with saying that we have a perfect marriage is what makes it perfect is that we have those things. I can't imagine a marriage that you never fought, that you really did get it every single night, that money was always there, that no one was sick, that we never went through any trials. Because to me, that would be, what some people think of as a perfect marriage. That would suck. It's like having Sour Patch Kids every day. Eventually, you're going to hate them. Right? They're the
Sick
best.
of
They're
them.
the bomb once every 4 or 5 days.
They're actually not the bomb. Chocolate Bridge Mix would be my pick of the day. How about you, Brax?
Actually, I like the watermelon patch, the Sour Patch.
yeah.
Watermelons. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Anyway, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is I think what makes a perfect marriage is those trials and the fights and the things that may not seem so perfect at the time, getting through those things and overcoming the trials and the monies and all the things that we fight about or the thing that makes our marriage imperfect is what actually makes our marriage perfect.
Turning to the scriptures, I'm not trying, but it does. The Lord talks about why our weak things, our troubled things, as we work through them together and have faith in each other, then weak things become strong.
Yeah.
And that's in a marriage, relationship, anything it is. And I've witnessed that in your guys' marriage. So as far as a marriage being perfect and being successful, I commend you for it. It's awesome.
Well, and
you can
if
say that I have a perfect marriage,
Sure.
even though it's not, an ideal some
It's
people's minds.
perfectly imperfect, right?
I like it. Yeah.
Yep. And if you go back to the scriptures, you think of whose plan was for everybody to come here and be perfect and return to live with Heavenly Father. That was Satan's plan, right? Our Savior's plan was for us to come here and fall and to go through some things and not be perfect and repent and make it back to Him. So if you compare that to a marriage, it's the same concept.
Yeah.
And so that does makes it good.
Well, and so saying the podcast, the phrase "born to succeed," honestly, every one of us on this earth are born to succeed. But in being successful, you can't be successful on your own. You have to be able to work at your marriage. You need that partner. And so I think as people are asking about your guys' marriage and asking how you met and what are the checklist things, so going into that question, what do you do to keep your marriage from the checklist? What do you do to make it fun
Probably for us,
and successful?
and I'll let her chime in on this too, but I can say the biggest thing for me to keep it to where it's not just a checklist is dating. And that for us, in order for us to date, we have to step away from the things that keep us from doing the things we like, having 3 kids in the bed with us at night, having our work schedules be crazy and running here and running there and doing this. So we have to step away. We have to go, we'll go to Sundance for a night just to get away from for a night, do those little things pretty frequently, whether it's even here in town, running to dinner and a movie, but dating my wife. And I know that's pretty cliche, but dating my wife, that's what kind of keeps it open for us.
Jazz, what's your funnest date? What is one of your funnest memories since you've been married and since you're a business owner? Shad's got his business. As you guys trying to make this date night, what's been one of the funnest dates?
Honestly, mine is super boring, but it's the most meaningful. And it's really, if we just can go to dinner and put the phones away and have a conversation without our littles interrupting or needing something or needing to go to the bathroom or cutting up their food, just to be able to focus on each other and not have those outside distractions, for me is huge.
See, it's the small, simple things.
For sure. I don't need like a huge elaborate weekend away at the ski resort, which it's fun. It's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But I think if you're just taking that time to focus on each other without those distractions, that's the best.
Yeah, we've recently found that a wood burning stove in our room does wonders for her.
Hey, that's awesome.
Oh my God.
Like,
Heats
if
the
we
mood
ever
up.
build again, we'll have a wood burning stove in every room.
Well, I'm going to take that in consideration.
gosh.
That's awesome. Well, now going in more into a little bit about your family. I want everyone listening, you guys are fun. You're one of the funnest couples. Like, if you guys ever get a chance to come hang out with Jasmine or Shad, take that opportunity because there's never a dull moment and it's always fun. Even if you're in the worst circumstance I mean, I've heard, I wasn't there. I wish I would have been.
You've
Even
been
when
there for some.
Actually, yes, we have been a lot of good adventures.
Yeah, in fact, I saw you swim across the Green River butt naked to get a goose that I shot. And there was ice floating down the river. It was in like March, February.
cold.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we've had some, but there's never a dull moment, and it's always fun. And I want you guys to I want everyone listening to get to know you a little better. So, with you two, you have 5 wonderful kids. How about you introduce your kids a little bit and kind of get to talk about them, just so everyone knows.
Okay, our oldest is Daxton. He's 13 now. And he's a lot of fun. He's a great football player. He's a heck of an athlete. He plays baseball, football, wrestles, team ropes really well, and he's fun.
He is a good little athlete.
Yeah.
And a good mannered kid.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
Next up is Bronx. Bronx Roy, and he's probably our, I don't know what you'd even call Bronx. He's one of a kind. He's our most tender, sweet kid that we have. They're all sweet, but Bronx is just extra tender. And he's really funny because he's super dry. He doesn't mean to be funny, and he cracks me up.
Yeah, he's hilarious. He has no idea he's funny, and sometimes, like yesterday, he says to me, he's trying to explain something to me about the Conor McGregor and Cowboy Cerrone fight, and I, after he gets done telling me this, I look at him, I'm like, what did you just say? And he just goes blank for a second, staring at me. He says, yeah, I'm not really sure I understand me either right now. And it's stuff like that on a daily basis with him. And he likes to box. That's about, he doesn't love baseball. He loves football. Hasn't got to play a lot yet because he's 9. But he'll play this year, and he played last year. But yeah, he really likes to box and play football. So.
Okay.
And then Mavericks.
Mav.
So Daxton, Bronx, and Mavericks are our 3 boys. Mavericks is 7, and he's about the happiest kid you'll ever meet. No matter what's going on with Mav, he's smiling. And he's a lot like Shad in he loves anything outside, adventurous, crazy. He has a lot of adrenaline.
Yeah, he does. He likes to 4-wheelers, motorcycles,
Snowmobiles.
That's him. He loves it.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
That little guy's got all of the kids do.
Yeah.
The boys have a bright future.
Yeah.
And
They're
whatever they want
wild.
to do. Now, I'm going to kind of answer one of our questions, the Instagram questions that came up going into your girls. How, and must be someone that's close friends, but how did the girls come about? And because I know, too, when I was with you, had the 3 boys, and you guys kind of were like, oh, we have the 3,
We're good.
we're good. With them handful too, like they're great kids. That's a handful. But then what one of the questions is what made you want to try again to have girls or to have kids?
Well, I'll never forget it. It's as clear as it was the day it happened. But Shad's dad, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. It's been 3 years ago, Shad.
No, longer than that.
Oh, well, a few years ago. Anyway, it
4
was
and a half almost.
4.5.
huh?
Gosh,
Yeah.
dang, time
Goes
flies.
fast.
But anyway, yeah, we were in the house, and I was actually sitting in the bed with Louie, and he said, "You guys got to try to have one more." And
I'd had a vasectomy.
shouted, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't. I don't know if you want to get into that, but
No,
yeah,
we don't. No, but we said, all right, we're going to try. Basically, just because I felt like it was Shad's dad's last wish for us. But we did. We tried. And lo and behold, we didn't get one little girl. We got 2.
Yeah,
So,
and we got Poppy and Goldie, and they're 3 now. And Poppy's name is Poppy Lou, and that's obviously after my dad. Everybody called him Papa Lou. Yeah. So it's Poppy Lou, and then Goldie.
Goldie True. And so Goldie, it's so funny because all of our kids are dark. They all have brown hair and brown eyes. And Goldie is our only one with blonde hair and blue eyes. And she wasn't born with blonde hair. And I actually didn't see the girls for probably a good hour after they were born. They had rushed them off, but Shad kept coming back and forth from the room with the babies to me. And we had picked out like several matching twin names, but we didn't know for sure what ones we were going to go with. And I'll never forget, he came back to the room and he said, I know what their names need to be. I know which one is which. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's go with it.
Well, I had named Poppy before Goldie even came out. I said, this one's Poppy. This one needs to be Poppy Lou. And then Goldie came out. She was pretty blonde.
Well, she didn't really have any hair.
No, but she didn't have hair like Poppy had. And then she's ended up being this blonde-headed little girl with blue eyes, the only one that doesn't fit the rest of them. Not real sure I'm the dad of that one.
Oh, you're the dad. She's identical to Shad's baby pictures.
She is too.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where they came about.
Yeah, they're fun. They totally put the icing on the cake for our family.
Yeah, they're a great time.
All your kids and the way that you interact with your kids is successful and I truly believe when you have a successful family, successful, I guess, base at home, it goes out into the world. That's where it all starts, is within a home. That's something that my dad and mom's taught me, but we got to know your kids a little bit. I wanted to ask you, what has made your family successful? You look at both sides, your Jaslyn, your mom and dad, on both sides, grandparents, Shad, same thing on both sides. They have a legacy that they've left behind with a lot of people. And what's some of that that's helped you be successful, that legacy that's been placed before you?
Want me to go first?
Sure.
For me, when I think of my family and how tight we are, it comes down to time. My dad, we were lucky enough that in most all of his career as riding bucking horses or with the rodeo company or anything he did really, even when we owned a gas station and did different things, I don't remember a time in junior high school ever where the weekends we weren't somewhere together. I didn't go to any parties. I didn't do any of that. And didn't really have a desire to. I don't remember ever feeling like I missed out on anything, but we went together somewhere, whether it was a rodeo or camping or hunting or something, we were gone together every weekend. And it's been neat. And I've kind of tried to emulate that in my life, even though I've had a different career. One of my goals from the very get-go, before I started any career, I always had a goal of getting to a point where I had a lot of time at home with my kids. I want to be the one raising my kids. I don't want to miss a football game, a basketball game, a wrestling match. And to this point, we've been very fortunate and blessed that I've been able to do that. We're pretty much, we can kind of go and do as we need to. And that goes into like my business. It's kind of a weird feeling because sometimes there's a feeling where I could be doing more in my business. I know I could grow my business to be, more successful that way. But if I do that, I'm going to trade off time with my kids and my wife. And I don't know, I'm in a great place right now, I feel, with our businesses and what it provides for us and what it allows me to do as a parent.
I think that's neat that you can recognize that, honestly, because I watch you and Daxton because when I was around, it reminds me, and actually you're with all your boys and all your kids, a lot how me and my dad were.
Yeah.
Same. I mean, Dad put a lot of time and spent a lot of time with me in the gym, sports, whatever it was, and gave up, careers or money or whatever it may be. And I think it's awesome, and people need to realize that you can be successful as you want with your business, but really, I think the strong point is time with your family.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, sometimes I feel guilty. Sometimes and this is being completely honest, sometimes I feel like I should be out doing more for my business because I know I could grow it.
Yeah.
I have no doubt I could grow it, and I could go to Texas and North Dakota where the oil fields are a lot better and really do something big with my business. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to leave home a lot more and dedicate to the business. And I'm at a point in my life where though, the material things don't mean near as much to me as being with my kids every day and my wife and being the one to raise them.
And that's kind of going back to, I guess, in a sense. Geez, you okay?
Yeah, I need some water.
Want some red?
You said to get some water, and I said, no, I'm good.
But before we switch over to you, Jazz, real fast, is that legacy that your dad's, I guess it's come from, and your dad's amazing, one of my heroes, but the time that he spent that's kind of a legacy that he's left with you of how important it is to spend time with your family.
Well, and
make sure you make time for them.
And, even I think I'm a good example of why it's so important, because my dad was taken from me 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. And if you think that when you get to be 35, 36, 37, whatever, I don't know how old I am, 37, that it's any easier to lose your dad or to think that you don't need that time with him anymore, you got another thing coming, right? Because I don't know if it's any easier now. In fact, maybe it's harder now. I wish so bad he could be with my kids and doing what he did with me when I was younger. The time that I feel like I got robbed a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that because I understand the purpose and where he's at and what's going on. At least I have a good, faith of what I believe in that. But my point is, I think that I was so lucky to have that time with him because he was going to be taken from me early. And, I think that I hope that people that still have their dad and maybe don't have that relationship with them will reach out a little bit more and try and form it. And it's never too late. Gain that relationship with your dad and your mom and grandpa and whoever it may be, because time is all we have here, and it can be taken from you very quickly. I mean, from the time my dad was diagnosed to the time he was gone was under 6 months.
Yeah.
And luckily there was nothing there. There was days when people were like, why aren't you there every minute of the day? He had pancreatic cancer. We knew he was dying. So why weren't you there? There wasn't a huge urgency for me. I didn't have anything left unsaid. There was no time left unspent with him. Now, would I give anything for a minute back? Absolutely. But we did it all. We had it all, and it was amazing. And so, like I said, I don't want to repeat myself over and over, but if you don't have that with your parents or your brother or your sister or whoever that loved one may be,
any relationship,
put the time in. And in any relationship, but friends are important. They're extremely important, but family's everything. Your friends come and go throughout your life, and you'll always have them. Some of my friends have been the best thing for me, but my brother and my sister, aside of my wife and my children and my mom, they're everything. So make sure those relationships stay intact and that you put time into them.
I love that advice. And I'm going to ask you guys listening to take action today. The way you just heard from Shad, do that today. Make sure nothing's left unspoken or actions not done. So, Jazz, now kind of going to your side of the family, what are some legacies that, I had your brother in here, Ran, your family's a stud. I got to play sports with them.
Mm-hmm. Some good ones, huh?
They're amazing. And your dad, your mom, grandpa, amazing. What are some legacies that you cherish and hang on to?
Well, I just recently lost my grandpa a couple months ago, and I don't know why it's easy, or not easier, but you kind of recognize things about your loved ones after they're gone that you knew, but you didn't really, really realize how important. But just reflecting on my grandpa's life these past few months and what I've learned from him is hard work. My grandpa has had to work really hard since he was a young kid. I was just talking to my grandma a couple nights ago at her house, but my grandpa made it to the 8th grade, and then his dad got sick, and he actually had to quit school and go to work to support their family, and he's worked his butt off since I can ever remember. They moved to Utah not knowing anybody. They were from Louisiana, came here and started up their business in the oil field, and I've seen my dad take on that role of working hard, and that's been a really great example for me, just because I've started this new little venture with my jewelry stuff, that example of working hard, that if you want to be successful, you have to put the time in, has been my greatest example, I think, from my grandpa, and just how much he truly loved us. We were everything to him. And so I hope I can carry that on for my kids. I want to teach my kids that they have to work hard. Nobody's going to do it for you. You've got to earn it and work hard. But I think, I've learned so much from Shad as well, as far as working hard, and his dad, and we have a great family.
You do. And I love the hard work. That's something like I really live by. My dad's hard work will never cheat you. And you can see that from generations to generation, how hard work will always pay off and never cheat you. Mm-hmm. And kind of switching into that, your businesses. You've started your own business, Shad. Kind of people are going to ask, what are you what do you do for your business?
Okay, it's my primary source of income, if you will, is a service company in the oil field. And I started that in 2005, and it's been good. It's had its up and down, just as long, right alongside with the economy of the oil. But it's been good. I've also got a few other little ventures I do some CBD stuff with my little brother. I've got some apartments and some cows.
Time out. I've got a little brother who is
Casey Field.
So this is another Instagram question that came in. Is how come you don't ride bucking horses?
I did get on bucking horses.
Okay.
I
know you did in high school and stuff, right? In college,
I got on bucking horses. I rode in high school a little bit and in college, and I still team rope to this day a lot. Quite a
great
bit.
Team roper. Just won jackpot last weekend.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I had, is if I still team rope, and yes, I team rope a lot.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
If they put it on in the chute, he can catch
everyone. It's more of a hobby for me, and actually was kind of fizzling out a little bit in my life until Daxton started roping a lot more. Now I've kind of got the bug again and got some good horses, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, and the bucking horse deal, me and Casey, it is funny. A lot of people that follow me are through Casey, so they would want to hear this, but my dad used me as a guinea pig for the bareback riding deal. Yeah. Because I started getting on bucking horses when I was probably 13 and probably weighed 85 pounds at the most, and just got my butt kicked. I mean, broke my toes and tore up a knee and got knocked out a few times. I mean, it was one thing after another. And by the time I was actually big enough and strong enough and mature enough to start riding bucking horses, I was scared. I didn't want to do it anymore. It was, every time in fact, I went on my mission and come home and decided I'd try it again. And they had this big old Clydesdale horse. It bucked anybody could get on him. Literally anybody could probably ride this horse. He just went out there and it barely bucked. And that was going to be my first practice horse and get going again. And I was excited. I'd been away for 2 years and wanting to get going again. And that sucker come out of the chute and fell over on me, and my leg was turned out, and it tore up my knee and broke 4 of my toes. And I was like, man, I did this. This isn't for me. So I learned in a hurry that I wasn't going to make a living at it.
That's all right. I know it's funny though. It's like, I just picture your dad still, Shad, quit being what? And I've seen it. The same thing when I see Daxton, these guys trying to ride steers at the bark. Quit being a wuss. Just get on it.
I'll tell you what though, that a lot of time, this is pretty cool too, because growing up, people always said, are you going to ride bucking horses? My dad was a 5-time world champion cowboy. He was a 3-time all-around, 2-time bareback riding champion. And people always said, are you going to ride bucking horses? And I obviously, I thought I was. That's all I knew. That's what I grew up watching, and I figured that's what I'd do. But he never one time pressured me into it. Anytime I got on a bucking horse, it was because I wanted to. He never pushed me to, never said, you wuss. And I should probably learn from this, because I call my boys little pansies all the time because they won't get on a steer or whatever. But no, I never felt pressure from him to do that at all.
Yeah.
And see, with Casey
kind of says the same thing too, though. But it
was different for him.
He waited a little bit though. He didn't start out quite as.
No, he didn't even. My dad wouldn't even let him get on bucking horses, big horses, till he was like a junior in high school. He had one little tiny horse that he rode for like 4 years. What was his name? You don't remember either. Anyway, this little horse, Bayram. Yeah, he rode Bayram for 4 years at least. And then my dad, even when he did start letting him go, it was very specific rodeos where he knew what was going to be there, never going to get in a bind. I don't think he ever got hurt riding bucking horses till he had won the world a couple times maybe. I mean, he was never got in a real bind. So
there you go. There's some key success. If you have your first kid, use him as a dummy, so the second one is good. Good.
Learn from your mistakes. Yeah. No. And I think those genes kind of skip me too. No, actually, I don't. I swear, if I could get in shape today, I think I could still do it.
I believe. You know what? You guys might see this. All right, you never know. Even if it's a Shetland, you get in trouble. You put your feet down.
Yeah, right now. I'm a little overweight by 30 pounds at least. And I can't even touch my toes. I'm so stiff, but
it's okay, hon. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember what we were talking about before we got on the bucking. Worst topic. I had to ask you because it was one of the questions on Instagram. Someone asked why you didn't still team rope. We were talking about business. I'm gonna switch. What your business? What you do?
Yeah. So roustabout service basically, and then CBD and the apartments and a few little ventures I have.
Okay. And then one last thing that Instagram question going in with what's your daily routine? Someone asked, what do you do on a daily basis to find success as a business owner? So two kind of questions emerging. And this again, Jaslyn, same question with your businesses. What do you do on a daily basis in the morning to help you be successful with your business, but as a family?
We wake up at 5 every day to start reading scriptures, and then right after we go and get frisky before the kids wake up.
That's in our perfect world. Goals.
Yeah, right.
No, we set our alarm at 7 o'clock and we roll out of bed a few minutes later.
Yeah, you go ahead. You start with that one, and I'll.
No, one thing that we really do every morning before our kids go to school is we try to say family prayer as a family. We eat breakfast together every single morning, and then before the kids head off to school, we try to not forget to say our family prayers. And I love that. I think it sets us up for our day, and it's the right way to get rolling.
Yeah, daily routine for me is, like she said, we usually start out together like that if I don't have something going earlier in the oil field. And then I'll usually make my rounds through the oil field, talk to my guys in the morning, make sure kind of everybody's lined out, what's going on, make a few sales calls, maybe take some invoices up and drop them off. Always working on something, whether it's some little deal with the apartments or a new house to flip or
we should
cows.
Explain that.
What's
Shad's got a little bit of ADD.
I'm all over the place.
Literally.
Yeah, one day it's one thing and the next it's another, but I always have some sort of iron in the fire.
But the thing is, I look at it, Shad, because I do too, and you've found a way, I think, better than I have to keep yourself, like you use it to your advantage. So your weakness, you can say, he has ADD. But the thing is, Shad, you've learned how to, and maybe I shouldn't speak for you, but you've found a way how to be successful because of that weakness, as some people want to try to limit them. And there's people out there, there's mental disability, there's ADD there's other
Definitely
things.
A mental disability here.
And you know what, though? Not to discredit anybody that has those things, but I really do feel, I was just listening to a podcast the other day about a man that he's constantly going and going and going, and he has channeled that, and he has become so successful. I think that, exactly what you just said, taking your weaknesses and making them, taking them and making them your advantage is exactly what Shad has done. It just makes me laugh because I know how he rolls, but yeah, it's a good thing for Shad.
Yeah, it is. It keeps it. The best thing for me is it keeps it not boring.
Yeah,
there's always something going in life, and always something to be working towards, and it never really gets very stagnant. And honestly, my biggest weakness with that, and maybe anything I do, is following through to the end of that. I have a lot of great ideas.
Tell them about your sauna.
Sauna's done. It's done. I've never used it, but I built a freaking awesome sauna in my shop.
He's like, oh, yep, I'm going to build a sauna. Goes and cuts a hole out of his Connex, is building this sauna all day, every day for like a week straight. And then he took a little break. I've sat in it once or twice,
but that's not. Yeah. Same with my pilot's license and all that. We can go into that too if you want, but.
I do. That's one of the questions, and I'm not trying to take them. I want to hear. No. We're going to get to Jaslyn's.
No.
Because the thing
Shad's
is,
a lot better to hear from than me. I promise you that.
I want to hear.
The thing I want to tie in, and this will go into what I want to ask Jaslyn though, is Shad, you do what you love, and you love what you do. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I've been around. Yeah, there's hard times. Your dad passing away has been a big obstacle to learning different ways, but you still every day you love what you do and doing what you love, and I think that's so important to finding success is finding that what you love doing and make that into your career and being successful at it. And I mean, Jaslyn, now turning over to that is what made you want to kind of get into the jewelry business? I mean, how long have you had it now?
I mean, I started making jewelry a long time ago, but it wasn't a serious thing until
the girls came, basically. That's kind of when it started getting more serious. In fact, tell how it started.
It started with me being pregnant with twin girls. And I mean, any girl out there knows that, you know, girl stuff is so fun. You want to doll them up and this and that. And I remember thinking I should make some little bracelets. And that's how it all started
and you
at
have
my
to know
kitchen.
Jocelyn. She's not the type like me. I'll throw a sleeping bag out on the floor anywhere, sleep anywhere, do anything. She's a little more uppity than me, a little more high maintenance. And so for her, and I'm not going to take the mic time from you need to talk, but we have 3 boys, so you have to understand what girls meant to her. 3 boys that you can't do makeup on, you can't do jewelry on, you can't do their hair. So when these girls came after 3 boys, you know, going through 3 boys, it was like game on for clothing, for jewelry,
That's true. It's true. They're still like my little dress up dolls.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. But I mean,
They're
that's how it all
always dressed
started.
cute.
Yeah, they're freaking cute. But anyway, it just started that way. And then it's like surprisingly snowballed into something that I never even had intentions of in the beginning.
Well, that's what's cool. I mean, you look at, there's a lot of people out there maybe that want to start these little businesses or be a business owner or be successful and thinking, oh, I want to do this or I have this vision. What was your vision at first? To me, it sounds like you just kind of a hobby, something. When did that vision become like, man, I want to do that. Like, I want to make this snowball keep snowballing and getting bigger and bigger.
When I was starting to have consistent messages come through that people wanted this stuff, and it wasn't just like, oh, my friend's sister or, you know, my grandma wants to buy something for her granddaughter, that's when it kind of became real. And then when I started to make more than just, you know, like $100 a month at it, where it was just, you know, kind of fun and silly just to pay for the supplies, then it actually became like, this might be kind of a real thing. But for anybody that's wanting to start something out, you got to love it first and you got to have a purpose. Like my purpose was my girls and I loved making it for them. And it's fun for me and still is fun for me. And I think that you've got to find a way to make your job something that you enjoy, and consistency. If you want it to work out, it's got to be consistent. You've got to work every single day at it.
Yeah, and you do that. And it's cool to see the progress from, I mean, just personally seeing it, how you've improved every year, but I mean, every day really, but how it's just improved and improved. A little bit, you say your girls, that motive. Talk about the name that you have for your business.
So Poppy and Goldie, like Shad said earlier, those are our twins. And I wanted to try and name it something after them. So we took Goldie, our one twin, and then we took Poppy Lou. So we took Poppy's middle name and combined it with Goldie's, and we named it Goldie Lou. So, I mean, it started with intentions of them and has just carried on with their name, and it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I couldn't be more proud of her. I mean, if you've seen the work that goes in behind the scenes and what she does on a daily basis, it is pretty dang incredible. You know, she tries to tell me that I help her with the business I have. I don't do a whole lot for it. She is killing it on her own.
Well, that's one of the questions that I do. I mean, it's a partner deal. It is. I mean, at least I guess I'm not there to see it, but what role does Shad play in the business?
I mostly just model jewelry.
Oh, gosh. No, he says he doesn't do stuff with the business part of it, but he does. Every financial or business-like decision that's made is passed along with Shad before it's ever.
I help you find new models, too.
Yeah, and you help me know when to pay my taxes.
Pay your taxes.
And you help me budget my credit or my checking book.
She has a bit of a spending problem.
That's why you started the business.
That is why.
Really
no, that's not why she started it. That's why I made her keep going. Because it's like, okay,
you want to spend
something's
money.
got to change here. Because I don't make enough for you to continue like this.
Where's my wife? I'm gonna bring her in here.
Oh yeah. And now she does plenty well, but I'm like,
I never say anything about your team roping entry fees.
'Cause I win, baby.
Dang right. So here's a question I got. And being successful, what are some of the fears though that you've had to overcome? Especially, Shad, you've done really well with your business. Chaslin, the last couple, you've been really well with your business, and you have this family, and you're so successful with the family. What are some of the fears or obstacles that have been the hardest to overcome, and how have you got through those?
You go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I as a mother, you kind of get that mom guilt, but I just don't want any of my time wasted that should be spent on my children. I just want to utilize my time with my family, because going back to what Shad said in the beginning about time, really with your children and you're together as a family is more important.
Yeah. And for me, what's crazy is both of us, I think, especially me, I have the same fears that I have now, making what I make now, that I did when I very started making $15 an hour. Am I going to, it doesn't matter what you have in your bank. I mean, at least for me financially, like we're secure right now, but that doesn't mean we're rich by any means. And I don't want anybody to take that the wrong way, but I still fear the same things that I feared when I was making $15 an hour or $12 an hour. My fears financially, actually in all aspects of my life, they don't change a lot. You just kind of have to find a way to manage those fears. And I don't know if it's make them work for you, the things you're scared of, and work towards making those
motivate
you. But for someone that looks in the outside, this is the part of social media that I don't like. And it's not necessarily that I don't like it, but people look at our life and they see, whether it be a house or things that we have, material things, and see us all smiling and happy and having fun and our kids wild and laughing. If you think for a second that we don't go through everything that everybody else goes through, you're crazy. Social media is, we put our best angle and the best lighting, and just like anybody else, there's been times she posted a picture of me in Vegas holding a rifle. To this day, I don't even know if you know this, but I look like I'm 9 months pregnant because I wasn't sucking in for this stupid picture. I'm like, are you kidding me? You know what I mean?
Let me suck in.
Don't post that crap, But it just goes to show that everybody, we're all in the same boat, right? Yep. We're all kind of fighting the same fight and the same struggles, and it's about smiling and getting through it and taking a step back and knowing that, look, I was scared about this yesterday, and here I am today, and everything's fine. And the things I was scared about 15 years ago, here I am 15 years forward, and I'm still scared about the same things, but everything's great.
I think that's pretty awesome, and in a sense, kind of twisting that to the opportunities. You've had the opportunity of starting your business, the opportunity of taking this jewelry and taking off, and what's cool in my eyes too, and everybody will have opportunities in life to overcome your fears. And that fear, it might come, like you're saying, it's a daily routine, but you're taking the opportunity that's given and making the most out of it. Whether it's with your family, whether it's with your career, whether it's with your marriage, and it's neat to see you guys take advantage of opportunities and be successful in them.
Yeah, that's awesome. You have a good life.
Yeah, it's crazy the opportunities that come to you when you're trying to do the best you can in life. I truly believe that if you try and be a good person, and again, this goes to say, if you don't think that we screw up, in our personal lives trying to be a good person, then you're crazy. We all screw up that way, but if you continually just strive, just a second,
get some water in you.
Uh-huh.
There we go.
Sorry if I swallowed too hard for you, Jocelyn.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry for all you guys out there.
We could do a whole episode of pet peeves of her on my. If I swallow too loud in front of her, she's like, "Oh my gosh!"
Hey, somebody gave me the best advice for you the other day. They said I needed to buy you your very own straw to pack around in your pocket.
Oh, tell that person is nothing.
go follow somebody else.
Straw somewhere else.
I thought it was a great idea.
It's my first gulp, people.
Guys,
my first gulp.
I'm not trying to cut us short. I'm over here. I've got a calf. I've got a calf.
Yeah.
And like, if I let go, I'm gonna pee down my leg.
No wonder you're so antsy over there.
Yeah,
I thought you were just bored.
I mean, jeez.
What questions did you have that we haven't got to real quick?
Okay.
All right. Real fast, though, I do want to end on a couple things because of sharing your talents and abilities. Okay, I as Shad was saying, doing the right thing, sharing, caring. Jocelyn, I gotta have you sing a song for us. Some talent, honestly.
Yeah.
That it's beautiful.
Yes, it is amazing. She has the most amazing voice ever, and it's gonna go away because she doesn't share that talent. And I can tell you how to get a girl when she's done.
Okay.
Oh,
and key music. Now.
What song?
I don't know. I can't even think of any words right now.
Yeah. Do the girl crush real quick.
Yeah. Come on,
Serious?
Jazz.
Yeah, just do a verse or two of
Come
it.
on.
You don't have to do it long. He's got a piece.
If this is not
I'm
bad,
pinching
or if
off
this,
my-
can you cut this out, or is this like this cannot get
No,
edited?
this
No,
is
this is
live.
it.
This is.
You're
it's
lying.
on. No, I'm serious.
Just do a good job at it. Every time she sings, it's amazing.
No,
Go
it's
ahead.
not.
You sang. Hey, I've heard you sing on multiple occasions, and it is beautiful.
Yeah. So
I'll sing like 5 words.
Okay,
no, like 10.
No, 5.
Go
2
ahead.
sentences.
The whole course.
I
Want
wish
some
you guys
water?
were in the studio. I wish we had this on tape.
I know.
It's
good.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm alone in my house. I'm out on the town. I'm at the bottom of the bottle. I've been knocking them down. There you go.
That's how you get a girl right there. Like right now, I could go have a girl.
That's how you have girls.
She just does it
I
for
thought
me.
you were saying like for me to go get a girl or like for some guy to pick. I see
Like,
what you
want to have a
girl kid.
Yeah, people want to
kids.
know, how can I have a girl?
That's how.
And I would tell her husband. Let me tell her.
No, that is too crude for the podcast.
Oh, you
DM
guys.
me if you really want to know.
Well, there he goes. I just peed down my leg. Just teasing.
I really got to pee too.
I know.
Anyway.
Hey, though, for anybody that's like listening from my link, and you've heard Braxton talking about how bad he has to pee, Braxton, do you have like a podcast explaining your whole story?
I don't know if we have one. I mean,
If not,
now
you
we
have to get one.
Like, really, how do you have this podcast and not have that?
because we're.
Yeah, let me
we-
podcast you for just a second. Just hang on 1 second. Okay? Your story's amazing. Because, see, I wanted to be a podcast guy. Now you're doing a podcast. See, this is one of my ideas,
I think
too.
you should come
we
back
should have a
and do it
crew
for real.
podcast. We already got a name.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember what we said.
BS podcast.
Yeah, Brad.
That's
and
perfect for
Shad.
Shad.
BS podcast.
You
Hey,
full
while
of
we're on the
yes. Oh,
subject,
hey.
come here, Bronx. One of your boys came in. Bronx is in the studio. They came with you, the girls. We're only missing Daxton.
Yeah.
Bronx, get on here really fast. Introduce yourself and tell people where they can follow you at.
What's up?
What's up, podcast world? This
Yeah.
is Bronx on the mic.
Yeah, Brooksfield, what's up?
Hey, get close to it.
Got to talk right into
You
it.
can follow me up on Instagram. I want to see them. I'll follow you guys back and stay in touch with you guys.
What are some of the things you do on your on Instagram? Like, what are you going to post for us and stuff? These guys, they're going to follow you, dude.
Get up in there.
Everything cool.
Everything
Holla.
Yeah.
Ain't no holla back, girl.
Boxing, shooting, all that stuff that you guys like.
Yep.
cool. Thanks,
Okay,
Bronx.
bud. We'll be out in just a second. We're almost done. All right.
Okay. No, and I do. I'm starting to send out little podcasts of my own things, and there'll be more. But like, I mean, I've got to share my story, and I want to bring other people's stories into. I mean, I know that life revolves around me, but I want to bring other people. I'm just
No,
kidding. I'm
if
just
you're
teasing.
following this podcast because you clicked on my link, you've got to go follow Braxton because his story is unreal.
Yeah,
like,
it is
it will
pretty
get you
awesome.
through any hard thing that you think could seriously come at you.
Yep.
Thank you, thanks, Jazz. Thanks, Shad.
And we cherish your relationship as much as you cherish ours. We just hope you know that.
you know, I mean, I know
You're gonna.
the
pee.
reason why is my bladder. People that are listening, my bladder doesn't work right. I do have to self-cath, and if it gets too full, I'll start to leak. So I have to literally pinch tip off if I don't want to leak down my leg. We already did actually in Sid's podcast. I
just
peed
put a
down my
bottle
leg.
under
Why
there.
don't
I
you
know,
just
I
let me
should.
put a diaper on you? I'm really good at that.
Heather had already bought me Depends for Christmas. But I want to share experience real fast because I've actually shared it on one of my podcasts earlier about the 3 things I talk about when I go talk to schools is 1, having a positive mindset, how it can take you anywhere in life. 2 is working hard. Opportunities are going to come. Hard work will never cheat you. And 3, surrounding yourself with people that believe in you, surrounding yourself with greatness. And Shad, since I have you here, I haven't got to. You probably remember this. I don't know if you sticks out to you as much as it does me. Getting on a real note is when I was in the hospital about the 4th day. I was. I remember that day just thinking this, like my life's different. I wasn't very happy. Wasn't in a good place, and I called you, just talk, and you listened to me. I sat there and I complained. I was negative. I don't know if you remember this call or not. And I mean, I was just kind of letting it all out. And I had my dad there, and sometimes it's just nice to have a friend.
Yeah.
And you listened to me, and then you said, Brax, what are you going to do about it now? Like, change your attitude. And you got real with me, and I guess the friendship I cherish. You've helped me through a lot of hard times, getting on mission to a lot of things. And that day, that phone call meant I cherish that. I cherish our friendship to be able to say, instead of saying, oh, I'm sorry, buddy, yeah, and feeling bad for me, was being real with me and just saying, hey, what are you going to do to change it? Let's do something. You're still alive, man. You still have, and I could go on more detail, and it's kind of more of a personal thing. But, dude, I appreciate that, and that's kind of person that you are, and it's not just fake. And I appreciate that love for me, for people, for your kids, and yeah, I cherish it, man.
You bet, buddy. I love you.
Love you too. You guys, I appreciate your family, appreciate what you've coming on and sharing with us today. To end this podcast, I've been asking everybody, what are 3 keys you do on a daily basis to help you be successful? And they can be anything, but maybe we can, let's do this individually and as a couple. Jaslyn or Shad, whatever want to go for, what are 3 things that you try to do typically every day to help bring success?
I actually haven't thought about that, but just off the top of my head, and I'm not saying I do these 3 things, but these are 3 things that I would say if you focused on, you're probably going to have a lot of success. And I think anytime you can focus on God, and whether that be your prayers and your scripture study or whatever that may be. So I'd say God first, and then family. And then the rest of it, you could almost say team, what is, and maybe that falls under family too, but community, what are you doing that day to make everybody else better? Whether that be your company, your employees, your wife and your children. If you can, I think God always needs to come first. And then I think family, because if you put God first, family's going to fall right in line where it needs to be. And then community and family and team, the rest of it, what are you doing for everybody else around you? If you can focus on those 3 things, I think everything else. And you could also put into that third spot, hard work. Yeah. You keep motivated, keep driving, keep striving in that third one. But I think if you go in that order, then you're probably pretty good.
I like that. I like that order.
You, hon?
Mine are a little bit more specific than Shad's, but for sure prayer. I say prayer every single morning with my children, Shad, and personal. I make my bed. That's something I have to do every single morning. I make my bed, and I try to keep my house tidy. I feel happier when my house is tidy, and I feel like my children do as well. And the third thing that I like to do to set my day up is I like to do some kind of a workout.
I love it.
I wish I worked out more, and I'm going to. I've been saying that for a while.
He's starting on Monday.
He's been saying that 3 weeks
I
ago.
promise when I start, it's going to be on a Monday.
Yeah, dang right.
Just don't know what Monday.
Hey, something that we do as a couple, though, for every day, and this could apply to you if you have kids or maybe you don't have kids yet, but we talk about our day and our children and what's going on in their life that day every single day.
I like that. And that's one other question that I think kind of goes into that is how do you, organize your time between business, and I love that as being able to involve your kids in their day, in your day.
Yeah.
So that's a good key to success as well.
One thing we missed, and we won't go into this, it'll be for a later podcast, but our fights. Like I had 2 people ask me what we fight about.
I had some questions about that too. Y'all, you probably know.
Sex and money. That's it. That's what we fight about.
I love it.
She just
Shad
wants
thinks
to
that
do
we
it
have
all
way
the
too
time.
much sex, and I need it more. Just kidding. I
reverse.
wish. I'm going to ask Heavenly Father about that someday.
She won't leave me alone.
I love it.
I gotta
guys, if you ever have, you guys listening, if you ever have the opportunity to be around these 2, take the opportunity given, and I promise you, it'll be awesome. Jaslyn, for those listening, where can they find to follow you? What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Jaslyn, JAZLYN _Field, FEILD.
Love it. Shad?
The number 1, Shadrack Field, is my Instagram, and that's I just barely got into being TikTok famous, so
I love your TikToks. What about
TikToks are terrible.
YouTube channel though?
Yeah, we
the
do.
Field Family.
We have a couple.
We've only started that. We've probably put 4 or 5 little clips up there, but we're gonna try and focus on that a little more this year, and it'll be fun because you will get to see a lot more of our shenanigans and crap we do.
I love it. So you guys listening, if you do have more questions, DM them, message them. Shad and Jaslyn are awesome. They're open, as you can tell. They love life. They're open. They'll help you any way they can to be successful. And I just, again, thank you for being on the Born to Succeed podcast. And honestly, everyone listening, I hope you can take these keys of advice and truly know that you are born to succeed.
Heck yeah.
You bet.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to the Born to Succeed podcast. Please leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. And make sure that you hit the subscribe button. For sponsorships or business inquiries, or if you'd like me to come speak at your next event, send an email to borntosucceed@v6.media. Thanks, you guys. And remember, you're born to succeed.